Ron, thank you very much. A rags to riches story on After Hours tonight. The kind of story we feast on this program, the kind of story that's made this program hockey's version of Oprah, the program where we make your dreams come true. How does that sound so far? This all applies to you, I think. 4 years ago, Alex Burrows was in the East Coast League and also playing for the World Ball Hockey Champions, and now he is a bona fide NHL player. So it's been nothing short of an incredible journey, which gives us lots to talk about. But first, let's address the game, and Mark's got the first question.
Well, first off, your job had the tough assignment tonight, going against Hemsky, Horkoff, and Nielsen. What did you guys do so well tonight, Alex?
Well, I think against those skilled players, we got to play them hard. I think we got to be responsible defensively. We got to keep a high third man and make sure that they don't get anything off the rush. Unfortunately, they scored one goal in the second there off the rush. We made a bad read, but I think we bounced back really well in the third, and Yannick got a big goal for us on our line.
Well, listen, Alex, before we go any further, how weird does it feel to sit here and be questioned by the guy who coached you your first year in the NHL? You played 43 games for Mark Crawford.
Well, at least he can yell at me here. Like I remember back then, he used to give it to me.
What would he say?
Get out there and make something out there. Get that puck deep.
But it was all good though. Like he gave me my
that was good, but say it with a higher pitch. Do it again with a higher pitch and louder.
What were you thinking there?
It's the coach only dogs can hear.
It was all good though.
All right, let's bring the fans in right away, shall we? Here's a question from Jeff in Vancouver.
Please do.
Alex, how does it feel to be so valued on this NHL team with the fact that you'll get a big pay raise next year? Jeff is referring to the fact that you're heading to unrestricted free agency.
Oh, but that's not what I'm thinking about right now. There's only 8 games in. I just want to help the team to win games, and the rest will take care of itself. I think my agent might talk to MJ about the contract, but I'm not really focusing on that. I just want to focus on playing well and helping the team to win games, and that's all I'm thinking about.
Okay, here's a question from PK in Burnaby. He wants to know, you're known as a player that opponents don't enjoy playing against. Which players do you dislike playing against?
I would have to say
anybody on
probably
the opposition, I imagine.
Pierre-Marc Bouchard is probably the guy I don't like playing against. I've always been playing against him since junior, and for some reason I don't like playing against him, so that's probably the guy.
Mark.
Alex, you're not afraid to mix it up? Do you think Mike Gillis is going to have to pay you more for your fights or your goal scoring? Which one's it going to be?
Well, they always say goals are, you get more paycheck, a bigger paycheck when you score goals, but in the end of the day, I just want to help the team win games. I like Vancouver, I want to stay here, and the rest will take care of itself.
Absolutely.
You are not the first undrafted player to make it to the NHL out of the East Coast League. It has happened before, but you got to beat the odds to do it. So even now, 4 years into your NHL career that's highlighted by this kind of action, do you sometimes have to pinch yourself to realize that you're in the National Hockey League?
Oh, for sure. I think every day I can't take it for granted. I think I've worked really hard to come to the NHL, and I just want to stay here as long as I can. So every day I got to get better, and I can never be satisfied. I just want to improve every day, and if I do that, I'll probably stick here for
On that topic, there's a question that someone sent in. I'm going to see if I can find it here. Here am I working with the BlackBerry, and I got it. It's from Gary in Redmond, Washington. Actually, it's from Mark. You coached Alex for just over half a season in 06. That we've referred to that. Since that time, how much has he grown as a player since you coached him?
I think Alex has grown tremendously as a player. You can just see the confidence that Alex plays with now. He's so quick on pucks. He's got a very strong stick. And I think the combination of the knowledge now that when he gets the puck, he understands how to protect it. He understands how to utilize his wingers. And they've got a great line going out there right now with Ryan Kessler and Yannick Hansen. And maybe a follow-up question to that, Alex, is what has Yannick Hansen brought to this line? Because you and Kessler were successful last year. Now you've got a third guy on the line that's giving you a little bit of luster as well.
Well, he brings a lot of speed to the table. I think he's got that nick for the net too. He just throws puck on net, and he's able to score some big goals for us. So it's all about speed and getting on the forecheck and making sure we get some turnovers and we jump on them, and that's how we're going to generate more offense. And that's how Yannick really helps our line.
Let's talk about the journey, so we'll get some specifics of that. You played 2 seasons with Shawinigan, didn't go there until you were 18 years of age. That's in the Quebec League. Not drafted, so you go off to the East Coast League with the Greenville Growl, the well-known Greenville Growl, who trade you to the Baton Rouge Knights. Kingfish, pardon me. The Kingfish.
You were
How
a
can I get
Kingfish
that
for a
wrong?
while.
in 02-03, and it's in Baton Rouge that you got your break. How did it happen?
Well, I wouldn't say I got my break there. I got there late in the year, and I think there was 15 games left, and the team was folding, and we weren't making the playoffs, so that wasn't really that exciting for me. But I think it was following year when I got a chance to play in Columbia with the Inferno there. I had good line mates with Tim Smith and Jesse Schultz there, and I was able to make a name for myself, and got lucky enough to get a few games in the AHL, and slowly, but finally made it up to the AHL the next year, the lockout year.
Well, see, it's unfortunate now. The show's going right off the rails because I got to tell you how you got the break. I got this from Craig Heisinger yesterday when I talked to him at some length. Cam Brown was coaching Baton Rouge. You remember that,
yep.
right? And he was a friend way back of Craig Heisinger. So you show up in Baton Rouge, and Cam Brown phones Zinger in Winnipeg and says, I got a kid you got to come down and have a look at. So he comes and has a look at you and signs you the next year. Have I got that part of it right?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Craig Heisinger does a great job for these Vancouver Canucks, too. He's responsible for bringing in not only Alex, he's also responsible for Rick Rippon, who played in Regina. He's a former trainer for the Winnipeg Jets, became assistant general manager under Randy Carlyle. He works tirely with Steve Tambellini and Dave Nonis when they were here, and now Mike Gillis, who's the general manager of this team. But Manitoba has done their job. They've uncovered some diamonds in the rough, like Alexander Burrows, and Zinger's a guy that's got just great contacts, and he and Mark Chipman down there, the owner of the Manitoba Moose, who also owns a car dealership, I'm told.
Okay.
They've done a great job of getting guys like this. And when you can get a player of Alex's caliber to come through your system and keep developing and be able to play in the National Hockey League, that is such gold for an organization.
Yeah, he's known in the hockey world as Zinger. Mark's right. He's got a great network of minor league contacts. He's a great judge of talent, but in your case, he might have been a little bit off because he told me when he signed you, he was really only hoping you'd become a good AHL player. When did you first start thinking, I got a shot at getting to the NHL?
I think the lockout year, I think we had a really strong team in Manitoba. The league was really strong. A lot of young NHL players were in that league back then, and coached by Randy Carlyle. He taught us a lot. I think he made us, the young guys, work extremely hard, and that's probably what really paid off. But we had some veteran players like Nolan Baumgartner and Lee Gorin, and even Ryan Kessler were there, and those were all players that played in the NHL the previous year. So just looking up at them, and I thought maybe if I keep working hard and playing with these guys, I'm able to play with these guys, and they played in the NHL, so I just have to keep working, and maybe one day will be my chance. And my second year, I finally got that chance.
Yeah, so just to finish off the journey, although it's not over yet, you had the 1 season, full season in Columbia, then a season and a half with the Moose. They call you up, and you didn't look back. In your year and a half with the Moose, you became good friends with Luc Bourdon, the highly touted #1 draft pick of the Canucks, who tragically lost his life in the motorcycle accident in New Brunswick in May. So you had to deal with his passing all summer. And then just over 2 weeks ago here, you had to get through that ceremony that the Canucks held, and a brilliant and wonderfully understated but emotional ceremony it was. You had to deal with that, and you did. And beyond that, you scored 2 goals on that night. How do you look back on that evening?
Oh, it was a special evening, that's for sure. I think Luke was probably one of my closest friends on the team last year, and our friendship was only growing, and it was stuff we were supposed to spend a lot of time this summer. He was moving to Montreal, so we had probably worked out together and spent a lot of time together, and it was unfortunate what happened, but that evening was a special night, and for some reasons, those are the strange things in life sometimes. I get 2 goals, probably no one would have thought that. Louis gets a shutout, and so anyway, and we get a 6-0 wins against the Flames. So I think probably Luke was up there helping us out, and hopefully he'll be able to keep helping us out throughout the year.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say he'll be with you for the rest of the season and beyond, right?
Hopefully.
Okay. Alex Burrows, a great find for the Vancouver Canucks, an inspiration to ball hockey players the world over. And we'll talk about his ball hockey career when we come back. Our guest on After Hours.